Propertymark changed my life as an estate agent. Today I'm joined by Natalie Barton, who is the head of digital ninja-ness at Propertymark. Used to be an agent yourself. Natalie, why did you say Propertymark changed my life as an agent? Talk to me.
So Chris, like so many people, I fell into agency. If I was going to write my biography, it would be called The Changing Tides of Norfolk Broad, because my CV was all over the place. I worked in primary schools, I was a dance teacher for a little bit, and then I had my son, and I just wanted something that was just a few hours a week. I was on a jog and I ran past an estate agency window and they wanted 4 hours every other Saturday. I was like, that's the job for me. Great stuff. So I knew nothing about estate agency when I fell into it. Nothing at all.
Right.
I moved over into lettings, and suddenly when you're in lettings, you realise that you have to do things right. I was admin. So again, it's dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure you've got everything.
Are you
done.
like a detail-orientated, structured person then?
When I have to be, yes.
Okay.
And letting agents are, aren't they? You need, because you see the consequences of getting it wrong, so you need to get it right. But unless you have training in place, unless you've given unbiased, credible training, you're just doing what has always been done, and that's not always the right way to do things.
Okay. So did you get some good training from your agency then?
Well, when I first went into agency, I had none whatsoever. I was literally
No, but did they train you?
No, not the first agency I was with. So I was with an agency for 6 months.
Okay, and then did you move into lettings with the second agency then?
Yes, yes. So I literally jumped.
And how many hours a week did you do at the second agency in lettings?
Again, I was still part-time, so I was doing like 3 days a week.
Okay.
In admin, just sort of 9 to 3 to fit in with school hours. So I wasn't necessarily on a career trajectory, but they understood that they needed people in a role who knew what they were doing so that they could leave them to do the job competently.
Okay.
And qualifications and Propertymark membership was the route to
Did they flag it Propertymark to you, or did you have to?
No,
drive
they
it
did.
yourself?
They were really proactive. So I know that as a letting agent in admin part-time, I wouldn't normally have been on the Propertymark course, because it tends to be negotiators, it tends to be managers, it tends to be those higher up. I was a part-time admin. Even with Roper, the guidelines that they've proposed with those, people in my role who aren't customer facing aren't even on the agenda for having to have qualifications and training. So I was really, really lucky that they saw the benefit.
Okay, so did they put you on some training then?
I got given the workbook, photocopied workbook,
Yeah.
chunk, book yourself in for the exams, get them done. We're happy to back you with this.
And there's like many elements. How many elements are there now?
So at the time there were 4 exams, I think. Yes, 4. So
Did you take all 4 at the same time?
no, I did it over a course of 9 months.
Okay, and you passed.
Yeah, 100% on the first one as well.
Fantastic.
Aced it.
You said the word that it changed my life. Why did it change your life?
So,
and more importantly, why anyone watching this should they care about that?
because Propertymark membership is best as an active membership. It's not just get your qualifications, stick your certificate on the wall, you're done, renew your thing, call the lettings helpline every now and then when you need them, when you're in trouble. That's just the tip of the iceberg. What works best is when you're out letting customers know why it's in their interest that you're a Propertymark member, because you're better qualified, you're credible, you've got that foundational knowledge that really sets you in good stead. So that's one of the aspects, because people will go, actually, I can trust you, and trust is a big issue in the industry. We need to build that credibility, and that's a shortcut to say, this is why, trust us, we're different to these guys. The second thing, and the biggest thing of all, is the network that it brings. And that's how it's changed my life. I have met people, I've had conversations with people that if I'd just been a part-time admin sat in a glorified cupboard with all the keys, I would not have met anywhere near the people that I have, and I wouldn't have had the conversations that I've had.
Let's come back to the trust element. Now, again, you are slightly biased because you've now crossed the Rubicon and now work for Propertymark,
Yep.
and it's your job to get the message out there. But do you think Propertymark could do a better job at getting the message out? You know, if I was to ask 100 people what Propertymark was, I doubt many of them would actually know what Propertymark is.
No, so people aren't necessarily coming to us or coming to an agent and going, "Oh, you're a Propertymark member." Now, we try to get that message across. We've got our Instagram account at Propertymark UK. That is purely consumer focused. So we're trying to get the messages that people are finding sticky in the industry and showing them a path, especially by using the expert agents that we've got. This will make that process easier.
I recognise that you have improved looking back a couple of years, but do you think there's still room for improvement going forward?
There's always room for improvement, isn't there? We are growing as a marketing team, for example, so there's more of us, there's more opportunity, more voices, because we've got such a broad umbrella that we're trying to cover estate agency, letting agency, auctioneers, which includes chattels and property. We've got inventories, all these conversations coming in. You've got lobbying, you've got our resources, what's going on in the industry. There's a whole plethora of conversations to have.
Okay. You said relationships. If I was to look on social media, there are certain Propertymark members that seem to be there all the time, and they almost quite incestuous in terms of a bit cliquey.
Yeah.
Is it that way? You know, why aren't more people doing this, or is it just those just happen to be the people? Well, I'm not criticising, by the way, but
No. But I mean, with any network, you get bonds with different people, and there will be people who are louder than other people.
yes,
Naturally, and they will. And again, with social media, it
Well, right,
escalates,
they
doesn't
will-
it?
yeah,
The
and-
traction builds.
do you think more people should do more with their, you know, as a Propertymark member to get the voice out there?
Oh, definitely. So you've got social media. It is a platform you can do whatever you want with. And having conversations with people on appointments, in your office, whatever, you've always got these opportunities to go. You always say, don't you? It's like Propertymark members are like vegans, that you don't have to talk to them for very long before they've told you that you're a Propertymark member. And that is the way it should be. Because if you're not instigating those conversations and people aren't asking you, then you're hiding one of the biggest benefits of being a Propertymark member agent. You're hiding it and people won't know. So you've got to go, look at this amazing thing. Look at the benefits.
Would that be your message to any Propertymark member? Shout from the roofs.
Shout from the rooftops.
Okay.
Absolutely. Use the resources. We've got Phil Spencer Toolkit. Put Phil in your window because people know who he is.
agree.
If you've got him.
Do you think many agents don't use Phil? Because you know you've got him, haven't
Yeah,
you?
we've got him, and people love him, and people are used to him because he's in their living room
Yes.
so many times. He does adverts, doesn't he? Because people
I didn't
trust him.
even know that they could use Phil in their marketing.
They can. I mean, we've got the toolkit, so we've got Phil saying, "This is a trusted Propertymark member. This is why you should use them." So there are resources there available.
There you go. I've learned something new today anyway.
We've got some big posters. If you'd like I'm going to send you a big Phil poster. You can pop up
Just a little
on
one.
your wall.
Well, just a little one.
A little one we can put in a frame.
This is what people bring as gifts and things to the sofa. So if you
I'll
have
get Amanda to get a
tell you what,
signed photo.
get
How's
me a
that?
signed photograph in a clip frame, probably 5x7 or 8x6 or something like that, signed to Chris from.
Chris.
There you go. If you do that, there you go. Then it will go on there.
Excellent.
I've interviewed him a few
There we
times, so he's a
go.
good lad. So
He's lovely.
there you go. That would mean the world to me. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
Oh, I've rambled quite a lot. So so it's an egalitarian organisation. I was just somebody in a cupboard working part-time, but because I was willing to put myself out there, have conversations. One of the first things I did as a Propertymark member, it was the Tenant Fees Act was going through Parliament. And there was a toolkit for lobbying. We used that in our agency. We wrote to our MP, Henry Bellingham at the time. He stood up in the House of Commons during a debate, referenced our single branch. We had 7 staff agency in the House of Commons because we had that toolkit. And then he got in touch with Propertymark and they had further conversations with him. And that was as somebody who was little part-time nobody. But you can achieve big things if you use everything that's available.
Thank you for your time today, Natalie.
Very welcome. Thank you.